you a guitar player or a musician trying to make higher quality recordings in your bedroom or your home studio? Well, in today's video, I've got some recommendations for you of things that you need to get started and things you might want to consider for the road and the journey ahead.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
My name is Chris Green. This YouTube channel is all about giving guitar players practical advice, tips, and lessons. So if that content interests you, please hit the subscribe button. And if you've already subscribed, hit the like button, because hey, why not? Now, first I want to say there are a lot of gadgets out there where you can use your phone or you can use a guitar pedal that has a USB port, and those things will act as your interface and they will give you a better recording than just using something like the Voice Memo app. Our goals in today's video are creating an environment where you can have a home studio or a bedroom studio environment, a place that you can record guitar, possibly even some vocals, and maybe even record your band with your drummer and stuff in the future.
Is that you singing?
All 4 parts recorded on my computer.
Wow.
Took me forever.
Obviously, the first thing you need when it comes to recording is your instrument. If you're a guitar player, your instrument is your guitar. And also we're including with that anything along the signal path. You've got some pedals, maybe even you use an amp. All of that is considered your instrument. That's what we're trying to record, okay? So number one, you need to have your instrument. The next thing we need is a computer of some sort. Now, does it have to be an Apple? No, it doesn't. Now, if you're a guitar player, most likely your Windows PC or your MacBook or your Apple computer, it doesn't have a port for you to plug your guitar into. So the question is, how do we go from our guitar or our amp into something like a computer? Back in the day, our desktop computers would have these microphone input ports. Do you remember this? And whenever you plug something into it, even a guitar, it would just either sound awful or there would be so much latency. It was unusable. In comes the interface. Now, an audio interface is basically going to take something from our analog world, such as your guitar or even a microphone. And then on the back side, we have a USB port. Now this interface here is called the PreSonus Audio Box 96. As far as interfaces go, this is one of the most affordable interfaces you're going to find. It has 2 channels meaning on the front, we can plug in either 2 microphone cables or we can plug in guitar cables if we want to. So now my guitar is plugged in to my audio interface. This interface uses USB. So with a simple USB cable, same one that you would use for your printer. Now our guitar cable has essentially been converted into this USB signal. If you are a Mac user, obviously you have a lot of these dongles laying around. And now I can take my dongle and plug it directly into my MacBook. How fun is that? Now, audio interfaces come in different sizes and different formats. This interface is a Thunderbolt interface, and as you can see, it's significantly larger. We have 2 inputs on the front, 2 inputs on the back, and then several different routing options available. Even larger and different, this interface has 8 inputs on the front. And on the back, this interface uses what's called FireWire. All 3 of these interfaces are made by a company called PreSonus. Which one do you need? My recommendation is that everyone get one of these USB 2-channel interfaces. You're always going to be glad that you have a USB 2-channel interface in your backpack. This is something that's easy to transport, and it's also very friendly when it comes to Mac or PC. Most computers all have USB ports on them, or you can use a dongle, but it just is reliable, plays nice. Is this the nicest interface you can possibly get? No, it's not. But if you're starting out, or even right now, some of the times with my YouTube videos, what I use is this simply because of the convenience that it gives me. I will use this interface because it gives me 4 channels to work with. I can record the kick drum, the snare drum, and either 2 toms or 2 overhead mics all at the same time. This interface, the FireWire interface, is something that is now considered obsolete. Okay, so the connection type that you go with, whether that is USB, Firewire, or Thunderbolt, matters a lot, okay? If you're just getting started out and you don't have a Firewire port on your Windows machine, I would stay clear of Firewire. But what I wanted you to see is that there are a lot of interfaces out there that have 8 channels. Focusrite makes one, PreSonus also makes one, that are somewhat affordable, and they have 8 channels on the front. So if you're recording drums, you could record kick drum, snare drum, tom 1, tom 2, overhead 1, overhead 2, and then some room mics. Now to get into the features of the interface, this will be pretty similar to no matter what interface you have. They'll have somewhat of these same knobs and things. This one right here, this knob is your main volume control, because on most interfaces, you're going to have a speaker left and right, okay? So if you want to plug in some monitors, you want to plug in some speakers, here's 2 ports for that, left and right, and then here is your headphone jack. So if you want to plug in headphones, there you go. Then on the front, we have the gain knobs for channels 1 and channels 2. The gain knob is essentially going to adjust the level. So if you take a microphone or a guitar and you plug them into your interface and your computer's not reading very much of a signal at all, you can turn these up. We'll go into those details in a later video. Then you have a knob for your headphone volume that's separate from your speaker volume. When you get this interface from PreSonus, usually it will also come with software. So Studio One is the software program that PreSonus makes for recording. They will give you the artist version of Studio One whenever you purchase an interface such as this, and that's a great deal. All right, my next thing on your list of things that you need when you're building up your recording studio environment is a good pair of headphones. Now these are studio headphones, meaning you don't want to wear these when you're going exercising or jogging. Now the headphones are going to come in 2 different formats. You have closed back headphones. These are Beyer Dynamic closed back headphones, and these are Shure open back. The differences are on the cups. This is kind of see-through. These are solid. Closed back headphones are going to be great for when you're recording. When you're recording, you don't want to have a lot of bleed, or you don't want to have the click track coming out of your headphones being picked up by the microphone. If you're going to get one pair of studio headphones, go for a closed back pair of studio headphones. These are by Beyer Dynamic. You can check those out. With open back headphones, some of the sound is also going to travel outside. And for recording, that can be a little bit messy. In my experience, these open back headphones for mixing are going to sound a lot more natural than the closed back ones. But again, if you're getting started off, get you a pair of closed back headphones. The next thing to consider are studio monitors. I've actually gotten away from using studio monitors. I had a pair of Atom A7Xs and they were fantastic. But when you have studio monitors, here's what you need to keep in mind. Your room is going to contribute or take away from how good your studio monitors sound. So if you're relying on the sound coming out of your speakers, you need to put some effort into acoustically treating your room. The only reason I'm using studio monitors nowadays is just to listen back. Like if I'm editing a YouTube video, or if I want my wife to be able to hear something that I'm working on, she can come in the room and I can turn up my studio monitors. When it comes to mixing or recording, I'm just going all in with headphones because I can trust the consistency. They may not be as good sounding as having full range studio monitors, but it's more convenient and I feel like I can get more done with headphones. These are called Rocket 5s by KRK. They are a little bit chunky. Basically, this is your IEC power cable, pretty normal, standard. They have a power switch, and they have inputs for you to use either balanced or unbalanced. These are like an RCA connector, or if you have a microphone cable connection for your interface, you can use this as well. And then they have some volume adjustment there. Like I said before, whenever you're plugging your speakers into your interface, there's usually a speaker left and right port on the back that would then plug into the monitor here. And then on the front of your interface, you have your main volume. That will control the volume going to your speakers. The next thing I want to recommend for you, if you have a pedal or an amp simulation pedal like the Strymon Iridium, you can go directly from your amp simulator or your Line 6 Helix pedal. You can plug that directly into your interface and you can get recording as a guitar player. But if you're playing acoustic or if you want to mic up an amp, you're going to need a microphone. This microphone is called the Shure SM57. Here's the great thing about the Shure SM57. First of all, this thing is extremely durable and you're going to be using this for years and years and years to come. This is not a microphone that most people replace, but there's always a use case for SM57s. A lot of times on snare drum, you can also use an SM57, that sounds great. Putting this directly on your amp is going to sound great as well. You'll just need something to hold the microphone. This is one by Gator Frameworks. Now we have a stand. This will sit on the floor or this will sit in front of your guitar amp. Let's just slap it on this cabinet here. As you can see, it'll sit in front of your amp. How does that amp get to your interface? Well, microphone cables or XLR cables, they look like this. We'll take one end and plug it into the microphone. The other end of the cable goes into our audio interface. So let's put this in channel 2. So let's do a recap of everything you need to get your studio or your home studio recording environment started. Well, first you need your instrument, obviously. You need an audio interface, which is going to get that instrument into your computer as well. You need a computer of some sort. It can be a laptop, it can be a desktop, it can be PC or Mac. Just make sure that whatever audio interface you get, make sure it's compatible by looking in the description as well. You also need a way to listen to what you're recording, so you need a good pair of studio headphones or a pair of studio monitors as well. And then if you are recording a guitar amp or you're recording the acoustic guitar, you need a microphone. I'm recommending the Shure SM57. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button. We're gonna have another video coming up next about the software element. I'll share some stuff from my screen. We're gonna take this SM57, we're gonna take the Strymon Iridium, and we're gonna start recording on the computer. So once you've got your hardware assembled, you've got your setup, you got your audio interface, all that kind of stuff, now we need to jump into the software side of things. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on that video as well. My name is Chris Green. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.